What's going on, everybody? It's Neil from 2AF. Thanks for watching. Weird things about the gun industry, part 24, I hope. Man, we deal with a lot of AR-15 style rifles. It's certainly not the only aspect of our business, but a large one. And it stands to reason since AR-15s are an immensely popular firearm in the whole gun industry. We've come a long way since the AR wasn't invented. I wasn't around then. I'm old, but I'm not that old. And lots has changed. Lots have progressed. And that's probably the more important thing to say. Change is not always progress. We see it in our industry a lot. To keep people, interested and to keep the industry alive, I mean, there's stuff changing all the time. And sometimes it's just a change. It's not always progress. All of that is to say the subject of this video is going to be about Colt. Colt was not the very first place to make this rifle, but they are the ones who kind of really brought it to market. And, Colt has been doing it since, I don't know, I didn't really look it up before this video, but probably sometime in the late 60s or so, Colt started making the AR-15/M16, that family of weapons. However long ago that is, and as much as some people would like to try and deny it, which is kind of the basis of this weird things about the gun industry video, Colt is still a pretty popular brand. I'll be the first to admit, I don't think Colt has done everything that they could to keep up with the progress that the industry has seen. They always kind of seem a little bit late towards things that should be standard. Like when I got into AR-15s, there was very few people, if any, doing mid-length carbines. And then mid-length carbines kind of became a thing, but in a small way, and over time it's taken over. And now for anything 14.5 to 16 inches or so, like that's the standard. Even 13.7, now that's a new barrel length. So anything from 13.7 to 16 inches mid-length is kind of the standard now. And Colt does have mid-length guns, but not most of them. Most of them are carbine length. And so that's just one indication of how a brand as popular as Colt, and really the brand, like I said, they didn't invent the gun, but they're kind of the ones that brought it to market. They're kind of behind on keeping up with the progress that market has seen. But they're still a popular brand. If somebody comes to me and asks, what's my first AR going to be? Colt might not be in my first top 5. There are tons of people out there who would never even enter the conversation. I think that's a mistake, but that's just me. The whole idea to do this video came when I had to get some more Colts in, and the supplier was like, man, you get a lot of these. And it's true. It's probably the brand, and I'll have to qualify this in a minute. It's probably the brand we go through the most, right? But a lot of the times it's like, say, if you get standard gun, sometimes we'll part this out. Sometimes we'll sell just the lower. Sometimes we'll sell the upper, things like that. But the point is that people are still asking about Colts a lot. Still, like, this probably isn't a configuration of gun that people wind up with, but still a lot of people are requesting and getting these and probably building off of them. Now, it's important to also say, well, I think Colt hasn't really done a great job of keeping up with progress that the AR-15 market has seen, which is maybe something I'd like to see them do better with. I have to say, with all of them that we've gone through, and not just here at 2AF, but my other job before this, we've been selling, we've been dealing with Colt for decades, right? Man, very, very few substantial issues. What I mean by substantial is gun doesn't run, something really wrong with it where it has to be returned for warranty. I don't want to say you don't see it, because I have seen it, have had to deal with it, but especially considering the amount that we see, the number is very small. So that they're very, to me anyway, they're a very trustworthy and trouble-free brand. Issues that we have seen that are not substantial and are kind of normal, like if you want to get a Colt gun, especially an AR-15, and you want it to be 100% blemish free. You hear people say fit and finish all the time, fit and finish. I don't know. To me anyway, as somebody who shoots a lot, fit and finish is not an unimportant factor, but it's not the most important factor. And I think that that's probably true at Colt too. Because you see some things that, like, you know, you're not going to be saying the fit and finish of this Colt AR-15 was immaculate. You're not going to be saying that a lot. They probably put out some stuff that's pretty good, but they also put out some stuff that's like, you know, there's a scratch there, or it's nothing glaring. It's nothing really, really bad. But there is infrequently people who are saying the fit and finish was immaculate. And I'll just leave it at that. So that can happen with Colt. And again, you know, to some people that's really important. To some people it's not quite as important. The fit and finish of a gun is not unimportant, right? It has some degree of relevancy, but there's a lot of leeway for me, right? When the fit and finish becomes important is when it is really going to impede performance, or, you know, the finish is also protecting the material that it's made, whatever part is made with. So if that gets in the way, then it kind of can become an issue. But the stuff that I've seen anyway is very, very rarely is that the case. It's usually always pretty good, or good enough anyway, I should say. So as long as Colt has been around, and as many ups and downs as they've had, and certainly there has been, I don't know what the history is, but, you know, they do really well. Then, you know, the next thing you know, they file for bankruptcy. Then they're doing really well again, and they got a bunch of contracts, and they're selling really well. And then, you know, they're having financial trouble again. And, you know, now CZ has bought Colt, and some stuff has changed, but I don't think anything has really changed for the worse. You know, the way they did markings has changed, and that's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed. There may be plenty of behind-the-scenes changes that I'm not aware of. But the guns are still working really well. We're still going through a fair amount of them. So Colt AR-15s, you know, as much as people want to say that maybe they're a FUD gun or an irrelevant brand, you know, it doesn't seem like they are. So why do they have that reputation? I have no idea. Thanks for watching. Again, it's Neil from 2AF. If you want to see more Colt or more anything, head on over to 2AF.com. While you're there, get yourself signed up for email notifications. It's the best way to know what's going on here at the warehouse, what's going on around the warehouse, what's going out of the warehouse. So check them out. Everything's over at 2AF.com. If I can help with anything, always be in touch. Neil, that's Neil, at 2AF.com. Or you can call or text 904-593-6922. Or you can get in touch with me on any of these social media platforms. I'm always happy to help whenever I can. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.